All right. First things first. Liverpool are move mad in the transfer window right now. Okay, this is like a movie of The Godfather.
But you don't ask with respect. You don't offer friendship. You don't even think to call me Godfather.
Like whatever happens, Liverpool is like 10 steps ahead. Beautiful in terms of it's a cinematic movie, I tell you. Cinematic. But that's not really the reason what this whole video is about. It's about the main person who is Hugo Ekitike. Literally, a couple days ago, I said, yeah, Liverpool are on their way to getting Alexander Isak. Liverpool are about to pull off one of the biggest heists, I will say, in Premier League history, in getting a well-deserved, known, one of the best strikers in the world in Alexander Isak. And we said, yes, hooray. Just to find out that later, 2 days or 3 days later, nah, you're getting Hugo Ekitike. Now, forgive me of my tone. It's not because I don't think Ekitike is good, because I made a video about him. But I believe that he is a promising striker that is able to achieve more. So I think, of course, the first target would be that Liverpool want to get Alexander Isak because he is their number one target. Throughout the entire transfer window, it has been discussed, it has been reported, it has been online. It wasn't a big secret that Liverpool wanted Alexander Isak. That Liverpool wanted to sign the best striker to go with the slot system, the up and coming Liverpool 2.0 version. But because of how we can say Newcastle has played hardball in terms of what they want. Newcastle has shown a great result. Liverpool testing them to say, guess what? I'm giving you 120 mil, 130. And Newcastle is like, nah, we're not doing it. So Liverpool is like, all right, cool. Guess what? We're going to take a number one target. But I think what happens, and I think there are 2 or 3 key points that I want to highlight and indicate to you. But first, before we start, hit that like, subscribe, share button so that we can get this to 1,000 subscribers. 200 right now, but 1,000 then. So thank you guys. Let's talk about it. So Liverpool have been doing great business. They've signed Jeremy Frimpong. They have signed Kirkes. They have signed Florian Wirtz. They have signed Mohamed Dashveli coming in. But I think one of the best things that Liverpool are about to do is to embark on a striker that is able to finish off chances when there is creativity behind him. Mind you, last season we saw Darwin Núñez with the same thing. We saw how getting chances, open goals, hitting either the crossbar or going over the bar. But getting Alexander Isak kind of takes the entire burden of goal scoring for Mohamed Salah, seeing that he's in the twilight, entering into the back end of his career, twilight of his career. But now that we've seen that the Alexander Isak transfer is not possible, because again, there is still discussion behind the scenes in terms of the player wants to leave Newcastle so that he can pursue his dream of challenging for Champions League consistently, for challenging for the Premier League consistently, for challenging for top honors consistently, even though winning with Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. But the one important thing is that Liverpool are always playing chess and not checkers. No, there has been a huge discussion and very toxic discussion online as it relates to back and forth with Liverpool fans versus Newcastle fans versus Arsenal fans and a few Chelsea or Manchester United fans. In terms of Liverpool, what Newcastle did was to say no so that Eintracht Frankfurt can hike up the price and Liverpool now have to pay a substantial amount. Really? They were already discussion 6 months before in January. And the reason why Eintracht Frankfurt didn't want to sell was because they were already selling Omar Mamouche to Manchester City. So clearly that wasn't a problem. The issue is now is that Liverpool are getting a promising striker who may or may not deliver in terms of goals. But again, Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes are very, very intelligent, smart, and astute in terms of not only signings, but also what the data is saying. So his person I'll be talking about a huge XG for Hugo Ekitike. His XG shows that he should be scoring at least 21 goals. But if you look deeper into the details, deeper into the metrics, you're seeing that his pressing is one of the best in Bundesliga. His creativity and chances is one of the best in terms of the under 25 around European leagues. And also his goal contributions, again, is top 5 in the Bundesliga. But again, the discussion is toxic because persons are saying Newcastle should stand firm on not selling their best player, their asset in Alexander Isak to a rival. First and foremost, you are not a rival. Newcastle is not a rival to Manchester United or nor to Liverpool, nor to Arsenal. You're not. Okay, you have a state in Saudi Arabia that has over hundreds and billions of dollars, but because of PSR, you're unable to do so. Which I think is unfair to Newcastle, even though you can or want to spend that. But the issue is that Alexander Isak wants to leave. He wants to go. And the unfortunate thing is that if you hold on to him now and not get the striker that you want, then down the line you could suffer. But truthfully, is that Isak is going to leave. No, because Liverpool has taken Newcastle's number one option in Hugo Ekitike in terms of replacement for Isak, quote unquote, or playing with Isak in a 4-4-2, as I've seen in couple reports. The reality is that because Liverpool has now are about to, maybe, because I still think that discussions are being had for Isak to be, to be signed by Liverpool. If that signing does not happen for Isak and Liverpool get, I think it opens the door for further signing or the main signing or one of the main signing in Rodrigo from Real Madrid. Because I'm looking at it at this. I'm not saying that Liverpool wouldn't back out 140 million. I believe they would. But the chances are that once Isak is signed, I think that Darwin Núñez leaves. That's my first point. And I think that Luis Diaz leaves and Rodrigo is replaced. Luis Diaz is replaced with Rodrigo. No, if, and this is my belief, you can agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. If Hugo Ekitike is signed, but I think that Darwin Núñez stays because I just believe that there is a possibility of having a backup striker for the eventuality that Liverpool now goes for Newcastle. And if you're a Newcastle fan, you held on, you said no to a big club because you believe that you're bigger and that he deserves more in terms of pounds, in terms of money and whatever. But if you're looking at it long term, because you may have won the battle, but you're probably going to lose the war. Really. Because it's like this. You keep Isak, you lose Ekitike, you sign Visa from Brentford. Now that you sign Visa from Brentford and Alexander Isak, I'm pretty sure, I'm confident enough is that he's not going to sign no new deal with Newcastle. You probably might lose him for again 120, 130, who knows? He might have an injury and his value drop. He might do better and his value increases. We don't know. But then he would have 2 years left on his contract going into a World Cup year, and you had him for another year. You probably make or don't make the Champions League. We don't know. But you lose out on one of your main targets, young up and coming promising talent in Ekitike, who goes to Liverpool, and now Liverpool bids, because really of a fact, my belief is that there are only maybe 3 or 4 clubs I believe that will go for Isak next season if he's still at Newcastle. 1 will be Liverpool, 2 will be Real Madrid, 3 will be Barcelona, and I think the 4th may be Bayern Munich or PSG if you want to include them into that. But I think the main 2 or 3 will be Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Liverpool. And I think if you can narrow it down, it's really between Real Madrid or Liverpool. That I believe. And if they want to be spiteful, so to speak, I think that they probably would more likely sell Isak to Real Madrid, but I don't think Real Madrid would want to fork up 150 mil. I don't see that happening. So it's the likelihood is that you're going to serve him back to Liverpool. So now you've lost your best asset or best talent, and you've already lost the number one option to replace Isak in Ekitike. Who wins in the end? My point exactly. So it's like that. But I also think, and this is my second point, is that Ekitike is a better all-round footballer than Isak. Now, some may agree or disagree in the comments. You can let me know. I think in terms of his all-round play, he is more suited to the slot system or the slot style. Because what Slot is looking for are players who are technically good. He has raised the ceiling and the floor in terms of persons who can be a part of the squad. And you have to be at an elite level to be included into the starting 11. Now, it's almost the same, but kind of different to what Klopp had in terms of persons who are able to press, but still technically good, but are able to cover ground. What Slot is doing, that they're able to really occupy space and occupy time on the ball while being in possession. And also in terms of positional rotation along the line. Again, later in videos to come, we'll talk about, I think, what Rodrigo will do for Liverpool if he signs, and what that means in terms of his quality and his space and his time on the ball. And also what I believe that Wirtz will be doing in the slot system going into the season. And I'll probably show the lineup as to what I think the team will look like. But real ever fact, again, guys, Ekitike coming to Liverpool is, of course, one of the biggest things, because who would have known that years down the line that Liverpool will be able to do this? I've heard rivals talking, this is not Liverpool. This is like Godfather. This is like a nightmare. For you, yes. But for us, we understood the struggle, and we understood what it took to come from nothing to something, despite the history. So, guys, let me know in the comments, like, share, subscribe. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Is Ekitike a very good deal to have for Liverpool, or a good signing to have, or whether Liverpool made a mistake? Let me know. Till next time, peace.